Okay, so now we're working with the Secrets Revealed True Crime Oracle. This is the deck I've created. If you're interested in purchasing it, the link will be in the description box down below of decks that I am selling. So, Secrets Revealed True Crime Oracle. We're going to shuffle and see what cards jump. Rule or country. House. Car. I know they live in the suburbs, right? In Boulder. Health issues, natural causes. Hit and run. That's interesting combos of cards. Lost. Oh no. R word, non-consensual assault. It's upsetting. I don't know if that's something that little JonBenet had to go through. We have rumors and tabloids at issue in this case. We know that. This is an old case, almost 30 years old. So that's of no surprise. We have affiliated. Truth revealed. Okay. Let's see. Let's mix this up. Greed. Okay. Greed. I mean, her parents were wealthy, so I don't think it's maybe their greed. I don't know. Somebody was greedy. Arson, destruction, and fire. So destruction of evidence I'm picking up on. DNA evidence. Wow. Cold case, that it is for sure. Spirit, what else do you want to share with us about what happened to JonBenet, or who is responsible, or what's to come in the development of this case? We have weapons. We know that we have video, audio, surveillance. We know that how her cause of death was. We know what it was, I suppose I should say. Parole or probation. Okay. These are interesting cards. And rule or country. Maybe someone, the perp lives in a rural area or a country area outside, not too far from Boulder, or not too far from the family, or maybe even from some rural area that they're originally from, or someone in the know about what happened to JonBenet lives in a rural or country area now. Okay, I know that they lived in a suburban area. You know, they had a beautiful house, lived in a suburban area, but this is speaking to maybe clues about the perp, or the perp's upbringing, or surroundings, current surroundings, or where they currently could be residing. So there's that. We have house. We know that Spirit is directing us that, you know, all of this transpired inside the house, which is a big clue right there. It's a clue because she was never taken and then brought back and placed into the house. Everything transpired in that house. How is that possible without one of the Ramsey parents knowing, right? Or knowing who's in their house? Did they have staff or people that was comfortable coming in and out of their home? I don't know. Maybe you all know the answer to that. But it ends, or it begins and ends, everything, that house is ultimately the clue. The clue itself of how somebody got in there, why were they there in the first place, why weren't there any screams of distress from that child? She's 6 years old. She's 6 years old. There would have been some sort of commotion in the house. Why wasn't there much disturbance in the way of dust at the window of the basement? What is that about? Spirit is like, law enforcement needs to go back to that damn house again and start over, start from scratch with new eyes. Because that's a main source of clues and information. We talked about this a little bit before. We got here health issues, natural causes. We know that Patsy died of cancer. She had a health issue. And with that, there was some key evidence and key information that died with her. Now, I know that her family members and friends may feel differently from that statement I just made, but I'm telling you, in my spirit, I feel like she had some vital information that she took with her to the grave, because she just, as much as she loved her daughter, and I believe she did, it wasn't worth some kind of downfall for the rest of the family, if that makes any sense. Now, this card can also indicate that some other family members, hopefully not, or friends or people, even the perp themselves, may befall some sort of illness, or natural causes may take them out. We are talking almost 30 years in the making of this, from when this case started. So it wouldn't surprise us that the perp died of natural causes, or had health issues, or currently have health issues, or is on their deathbed. All right, wouldn't surprise me. Also, someone in the know, or associated with this case, close to this case, may have been the victim of a hit and run, or some sort of other accident, or some sort of something beyond their control happening and causing them to be in a injured way or state. Sometimes the hit and run card doesn't come up just because of the victim. It can come up because of the perp. The perp may have dealt with a hit and run. Maybe they're accused of doing a hit and run. They have a record of something like that. And that would be interesting if going through looking at the suspects, or the potential suspects, or persons of interest, and seeing, did they have any record of doing hit and runs in their past, or something tied to a hit and run, or them being attached to a hit and run accident. That could be a clue. Okay. Lost. Evidence is lost. Key information has been lost. Not all, thankfully. We have that trace evidence, although some people would argue that that evidence is not what is going to break this case. It's going to be something else. And people fear that the person who's responsible is no longer with us, they're gone, or key evidence is lost, for eternity. I don't know, or somebody or something is lost as it relates to this case. This is heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking. Now, this could be someone close to her who has experienced this, close to JonBenet, or close to the case, who's experienced non-consensual advances, the R word, or who has been SA'd or assaulted. I didn't want to delve too far into her autopsy results, JonBenet, and I figured I would wait to watch the documentary when I have time, and after I've done the readings, or at least after I've done this initial reading, then I would approach it, because I don't know if this is a factor in this case or not, but this seems to tell me that it could very well be a factor somehow, some way. Rumors and tabloids. There are so many rumors swirling around this case. It's almost a 30-year-old case, so it's not surprising that there's rumors and tabloids and all kinds of, theories. I remember when I was young, teenager, seeing the tabloid headlines on the newspapers, on the tabloid rags. I remember JonBenet's face with her pageantry outfits, and her mom, particularly, not so much her dad, but her mom being on the cover, and it really influencing people in their opinions. Now, this is not to say that rumors and tabloids are always wrong. Oftentimes they're right. but we have to be aware, Spirit is telling me, that this is plaguing this case like no other, and that when we look at this, let's try to look at it with new, fresh eyes, to give everyone a fair shake if we really, truly want to solve this case. And I know when we're talking about a young child who lost her life, I think we all can say it is a worthwhile case to solve. It's a worthwhile case to come to with new eyes, fresh energy. Affiliated. This is one of the new cards I made for this deck, for this, this particular deck. It's a expansion pack. And we have affiliated. Someone could be affiliated, attached, known to the Ramseys, known to police, known, some sort of affiliation, some sort of, attachment from the perp to the victims or the victim's family to law enforcement. And this could be some information that law enforcement is keeping close to the vest. For whatever reason, they do not have enough information or evidence to move forward with prosecution. They have some bits and information, as we see here with this criminal profile image. We know there's some sort of affiliation. They have something, but it's going to take more than the DNA evidence at this point to solve this case, because whoever this is isn't, from what I can tell, isn't in the system. Okay, so law enforcement can't just build a case on DNA evidence if the person who is responsible or a potential person of interest is not in the database. Where do you go from there? You have to continue to work the case, work the other evidence, and tell the story with evidence supporting that story. You can't, if you have DNA evidence and you can't attach it to anyone, it does nobody any good until you can attach it to someone and then also have corroborating evidence to support how their DNA is a factor in what happened to the victim. And that is what we're at here. That's what we're up against here. They have some information, and some people will say, well, that's not enough. If she's wearing pajamas, which I would presume that JonBenet was wearing pajamas on Christmas night, why would there be some other foreign DNA on her pajamas? Now, it's possible. We know. We can think of all sorts of scenarios. But let's think of the probability of that. Whoever did this to her, that likely is the DNA evidence. And we can pose that as a question in the tarot reading if you'd like me to, if you think that would be pressing or pertinent to ask. Is the trace DNA evidence that law enforcement have in their possession actually attached to the perp? My sense is yes, it is. All right. We have here truth revealed. So at some point, the truth will be revealed. And to some people, the truth is revealed. What we know is that they've been cleared. The Ramseys who lived in that house with JonBenet have been cleared by the district attorney. Whether people agree with that clearance or not, that is what it is. They were not linked with the trace evidence that was found on her clothing. But the truth will be revealed, and this is good to know. Now, will that mean that people are brought to justice for being involved in her death? That remains to be seen. I'm concerned because time has passed. Some people may have died of natural causes or health issues, and justice may never be officially sought. But the truth of what happened to her will be revealed. There will be some sort of connection to greed, someone being greedy. Okay. Someone destroying or burning up evidence. We have arson, destruction, fire. Also, this could represent the perp having a history of arson in their background, or dealing with a house fire at some point in their life, or hearing about a strange house fire with somebody who knows the Ramseys. Pay attention to that if you've been following this case. Is there someone who had a house fire? Is there someone with a monetary Motive. Cold case. This has been a cold case. And I think what Spirit is saying over the Truth Revealed card is that this will be a cold case with truth being revealed, ultimately what happened to her. But it may not necessarily mean that someone is going to serve time for it. And I pray that that's not the case, but that's what I'm sensing with these two cards together. Weapons. They said that she lost her life because someone had some ligatures or some sort of ligature and strangulation. And then I don't know if she hurt her head. Like there was something about hematoma. I don't know. But nevertheless, the proximate cause of her death was some sort of strangulation with some kind of man-made, rope or something like that. So this weapons card could speak to that. This also could speak to the perp who is heavily interested in weapons or into ligatures or knowing how to configure ropes in things or making some sort of, they're like known for this is what I'm getting the sense of here. And law enforcement could have audio, like, recordings. They may have even interviewed this person before. Well, we'll see as we continue on with our readings. There could be some sort of video, audio surveillance in later years, not necessarily of the night she died, but later years, because I suspect, I don't think that the person is completely unknown to law enforcement. I'm going to go out there and say it. I think law enforcement has an idea, is what I'm thinking. And the reason I'm saying this is because of this last card. It says parole or probation. Parole or probation. This is telling me that the person who has maybe a history, a criminal history at some point or another, I would say that if they did, they would be in the DNA system. But this also could be that maybe they have a probation record or, was on parole from another country, another state. I don't know. It also could, when I just see these, I don't know if it's just so much this key phrase here. And if we don't look at this and we just look at the image, what we're seeing here is someone being interrogated. And I feel like somebody's been interrogated, the person who did this, and police are aware of that. They followed this person, maybe, did some surveillance or sub rosa on them, and they have an idea. I don't think police are as in the dark as they're saying or indicating. That is my, intuition here. And yes, they did not get a hit. That doesn't mean that they don't have persons of interest who stand out amongst the crowd. They do. And yes, we know law enforcement holds a lot of information close to the vest, as they should. But I feel deep in my spirit that they know who it is. And hopefully this card means that they will somehow, some way be brought to justice, or that maybe in the coming years they have to deal with another crime and law enforcement is able to catch up with this person because of a new crime that they did. But nevertheless, time is of the essence. I have to say this, not just because it's 28 years, but because this card is not just speaking to Patsy, but it's speaking to the perp. This perp is facing near death. They may or may not know that, but that's what I'm picking up on here. All right, friends, I'm going to stop here. We've covered a lot in this reading, and there's still a little bit more. I want to dive in a little bit further into the detailed oracle reading, so I will be recording that sometime in the next day or two, so stay tuned. Check your notifications, make sure they are on, and give me your thoughts on what you think these cards are saying. Who do you think stands out as the most prominent one who did this to JonBenet? I'm curious to hear from you. I just ask that you be respectful in the comments section. Do me a favor on your way out. Please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Your support means a lot. It means everything to me. And my sincerest condolences goes out to JonBenet's family and loved ones, because what a nightmare. This beautiful little girl tragically lost her life in such a heinous way, where she was comfortable. It was Christmas, for God's sake, and her life was taken in her home. And I think that always will haunt us as a society in America and maybe the world. I don't know how many of you know about this case worldwide, but I remember it like really shaking me up, you know, when it first happened. All right, friends, you take very good care of yourselves. I will see you all around. Bye for now.